Hey guys, what's up, and welcome back to another episode of Watch It in Action. I'm BouseFeenux, and today we're going to be taking a look at Excalibur. So, Excalibur is basically the poster child for Warframe. He was the first Warframe that the Tenno ever wore into battle, and he is one of the first Warframe that people ever play when they pick up this game. So, I really like him. He's been reworked over the past couple of updates, and some of the skills he's got now are just amazing, and the way he plays is just a lot of fun. So the build here is from my website, and it focuses more on Exalted Blade than just about anything else. So we're not using any of the augments for Excalibur. I don't really find them useful for this build. So we're just going with some pretty generic mods here that you would use on a lot of other frames. One thing I will note is I use a 5 out of 10 Blind Rage just for the efficiency. I like to keep that. It kind of helps us channel toggle our Exalted Blade for a little bit longer. And the damage isn't really worth it for the efficiency loss. So, moving on here, checking out some of his abilities, some of the ones we're going to be using, all of the abilities he has are pretty much viable for this build, but casting them is going to be wasting that precious energy that we're going to need to be channeling Exalted Blade with. So, just a quick look here, we got Slash Dash, which is basically he almost teleports to a foe and, delivers a strike. Radial Blind is super useful. I use that a lot to get out of trouble with this build, and essentially what that does is it's going to blind enemies in a radius for a little bit, and it allows you to perform finishers on them, which deals tons of damage and ignores armor. So Radial Javelin is basically, it used to be his ultimate skill, and essentially what that does is it basically throws a bunch of swords in a decent radius and does some decent damage, stuff like that. And then finally we have Exalted Blade here, which is going to be our bread and butter skill. This is what we're going to try to have active all the time. And what this is it's just a sword made out of pure light, and it'll toss energy waves at pretty good distance, and those energy waves are going to cut through just about everything. They will punch through enemies, walls, you name it, and they will go until they run out of distance. So let's get into showing you how this works real quick. What we're going to do before we get into battle here is we're going to, turn on our Exalted Blade, and as you can see here, it's just a sword of light like the description says, and when we attack, it's going to throw out these blades of energy, and like I said before, those are going to pass through just about anything until they run out of distance. So they'll pass through that. See, it went through that wall over there. What you'll notice too is if you have Exalted Blade equipped and you go into your melee combos, you'll notice that it actually has its own stance and its own combos here that you can do. So that's kind of cool. I actually didn't realize that until a while. I'd been playing him for a while. So I want to show you this build against some pretty high-level enemies. We're going to use Corrupted Heavy Gunners at level 90. These are pretty tough enemies, so we'll show you how he does against them, just to kind of give you an idea. So throwing up Radial Blind, that's going to save us a lot of trouble. It's going to incapacitate these enemies. It's going to give us a crit damage bonus, and it's going to open these guys up to finishers. Now, you don't always have to do that, and you can actually get a free Radial Blind by doing what I just did there. That's just a slide attack. You hold control and then attack with E, and that gives us a free small Radial Blind there. But as you can see, I mean, these guys are level 90. They're pretty tough, and it's just tearing through them. The other thing to note is you can channel with this ability. You can channel like you would any other melee weapon. And basically how it works is Exalted Blade kind of takes attributes from your mods equipped to your melee weapon. So this is the melee build I'm using. I'm using Broken War right now. A lot of people like using Ascana because that's a really good weapon for him. So here's my build for that Broken War. I am using Life Strike, so if I take some damage, I can channel and get some of that lost health back and stay in the fight. But that's pretty much Excalibur. I really like him a lot. There's a couple different builds for him that people really enjoy. This is more around Exalted Blade. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope this was helpful, and I can't wait to see you at the next video. Thanks so much.